again, on a spiritual level, a natural level, a physical level, and then an emotional and mental level. Now, why is this important, and why is it important for business? Because us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we need to be healthy. We're not necessarily going to clock in someplace. Most of us that we're guaranteed a check, or you have personal time, sick time, all of those things. A lot of times we're entrepreneurs or business owners. If you don't work, you don't eat. Or you don't have this other paycheck that's coming to say, okay, well, I took 3 sick days or something like that. And so we need to be healthy, and also to be creative, and also to be the visionary that we need to be to run companies and to lead people, right? We need to be healthy. We have to have a healthy mindset as well as a healthy body. And then at the end of that, it's hard to increase the bottom line when you're not feeling well. It's hard to produce, to be productive, to even just have a good day. Let's take it one day at a time. It's hard to have a good day if you don't feel your best self. And I would venture to say that we often, occasionally wake up sometimes and you don't feel your best. And you still try to stay positive and say, okay, this is going to be a great day, but you didn't wake up as good as you did the day before, right? And so some of the tools that you can use to help yourself when you have these lows, or you have these goals. So one of the things that I want to do is to be able to empower you with information, but also give you some tools and some strategies that you can use so that when you have these off days, that you know what to do. As entrepreneurs and business owners, it's important for us and what the bottom line is, right? Even if it's something you're passionate about, like I'm passionate about holistic health, at the end of the day, I have to make money doing this because this is how I feed my family. It's also how I take care of myself. So whatever your business is, you want to be your healthy, best self so that you can thrive in that position, right? Nobody wants to just survive. And many people are. Many people are. Many people are just surviving in business, or worse, and they're not really surviving, and they don't know what they're going to do next or how to do it next, and they're looking for strategies and tips. So I hope that I can empower you and educate you in the area of holistic health today so that you can be better, that you can be more productive and happier at home and in business. So that's my challenge, okay? That's my task. I too love challenge, and I too found that I was a little bit competitive, and not necessarily with the person next to me, but myself, and just being better and just enjoying life. So I do a lot of aromatherapy. I'm a master in aromatherapy and essential oils. I've been using them over 20 years, and I absolutely love them. They have helped in so many different ways. And so three of the ways actually that we use essential oils is aromatically, which is just smelling, and then topically, which is on the skin or maybe a pain location, and then it's orally. So the brand that I use, we have a line that's specific for oral use so that you can take it internally in some way if you need to. And so we're going to experience all those today. Are you with me?
Yeah.
This is interactive. I need you to trust me. We're going to have some fun. Okay, so my daughter's going to help me, and we're going to first experience aromatherapy. So what I'm going to do is I have an oil here called Stress Away. Now, as business owners, we need this. He said, come to me first. Roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves, Gustavo. So what we're going to do is rub it on the inside of your wrist, and then you can just rub it on inside of your arm. This is called Stress Away. It smells very nice. Inside.
Does it have anything to put this in it?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it smells so lovely. So, Stress Away is very good. It's a blend of oils that you can use to help you when you're feeling stressed, to kind of give you that inner woosah and just kind of relax and kind of gather yourself, together. For me personally, and I should have taken this one out because it's my happy oil in a bottle. It's my productivity oil in a bottle, and that's lemongrass. And I absolutely love them. Actually, can you take the lemongrass out of my bag for me, please? I absolutely love it. And there have been days like I've tested this, and it's like I have this seemingly insurmountable task that I have to accomplish, and I don't want to do it. I just don't feel like, doing it, or just seems like too much. I put the lemongrass on, and I put some in the diffuser, and I put some on me, and next thing you know, that whole heap of insurmountableness is gone. Wow. And it's like, wow. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, it's wow. So it makes me happy even talking about it. Like, yes.
So lemongrass also gets rid of the mosquitoes.
Yes, lemongrass is good as an insect repellent also. And they can smell it, you can pass it around, you can smell it. So we just use it topically, by applying the Stress Away on, and now aromatically. So pass it around and smell it, and if you'd like to take a drop, go ahead and take a drop and rub it on. Yeah, rub it in your hand and rub it 3 times clockwise. Rub it, yeah, don't shake it, so much is gonna come out. So 3 times clockwise helps to increase the frequency of the oils. Everything has a frequency. Our bodies have a frequency. This projector screen has a frequency. Our cell phones, our TV, everything has frequency, everything has energy. So these oils come from the plant. They are the lifeblood of the plant, and they have energy. They also have oxygen in them. So by applying this to our body, it gives our body oxygen, but it can also increase the energy in our body. So I'm hearing some noises like you guys are really enjoying. She looked like she's totally decompressing over there. So they're able to help us mentally and emotionally. And I love that because in family life and in business, there's so much stress. There's so many different things going on, and there's so much stress. And where I've been traveling recently and talking with people, so many people are dealing with anxiety. And I'm just like blown away, kind of baffled at the level of anxiety that these people are dealing with. And then depression. And just dealing with a lot of depression and feeling just kind of overwhelmed by life experiences. So for me, lemongrass is my pick-me-up. You know, for you, it might be lemongrass, it might be some other one, but I work with people to try to help you find what's best for you, right? And then there are guides that you can use that I can give you. So it's like a chart, and you say, okay, I need a little bit of this today, or this is how I'm feeling, and this is what I can try, things like that, right? So when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner, you know, so many different challenges, you know, happen to us, right? And it's hard to always stay balanced. But adding aromatherapy to your personal life is something that can help keep you balanced. And then when you go into the workplace, because people are going to smell you in a good way, right? It can help to keep them balanced. And I've had that experience too, and personally, and also working with clients. And there was a client that was in an office setting, and people were just really mean. They were like kind of nasty, really cantankerous. She did not like working there at all, and she was wishing that she could like douse oil on everybody. It was like, okay, you can't do that. But what you can do is you can wear the oil. And them smelling it will help to lift them up, and that's exactly what happened. And she was able to change her work environment because of how she was working on herself, and wearing that aroma was able to help uplift some of the people that she was working around. Okay, so I'm gonna share joy. So Stress Away we can use as an emotional oil to help to balance us, right? And to alleviate some stress. And this one is joy. And so there are different oils synergistically put together to help to elevate your energy so that you feel more joyful. I've also seen this with clients, and there was a young man in a session, and they had just finished doing yoga, and then I was doing the aromatherapy piece. And he was like, yeah, I think I need more joy. And I gave everyone like a choice of which oils they wanted, and that was the one he wanted. And so afterwards, when they all did it, I gave them a few minutes and we did some breathing. And I said, well, how do you feel? His face just lit up, and he was like, I think it's working. And he was just so joyful. He really loved it.
So you were a yoga instructor as well?
No, I didn't do the yoga.
Oh.
I did the aromatherapy after someone else did the yoga.
Regular yoga or
tag teaming.
Bikram yoga or?
No, regular yoga. Yeah, we were tag teaming. So the point of that was that however he was feeling, he was like, this is something that I believe I need more of in my life. And by him just applying the oil in that one session at that time, he felt more joyful, and he was able to express that. So I have a lot of fun with the oils for myself and for my family. So I'm a mom of 5. My youngest is 13, and Miss Ashley is assisting me, and she is 17. I have another daughter who's 21, and then my sons are 23 and 26. Yes, they're about to have birthdays, so this is the even years, so they're going to be 22, 24, and 26. So 23 and 25 are my oldest sons now. So my oldest son, the 25-year-old, gave me a granddaughter. She's 2.5, and she's a joy. Yes, so I'm a grandmother. And then my younger son, who is 23, is getting ready to have a baby in September. And so, yeah, I'll be a grandmother times 2. And I'm so happy I don't look like it. I'm so happy I don't look like, because she's looking at me like, what? I'm so happy I don't look like what I've been through, okay? That is a testimony in and of itself. And truthfully, using essential oils is something that has helped me through life. through helping with the children, through pregnancies, through trauma, through divorce, through bee stings and mosquito bites and sprained ankles and boys in football and all types of stuff. So this is a method that I have to also keep my children well. This is a method that I use to help keep myself well and help other people well. And one of the things that I do, and I kind of pride myself in now, and it's not something that I just kind of came up with, I would say that God gave it to me. First of all, the motto is making healthy disciples, and that's something that I was called to do. That's something that he gave me to do. So this for me is not just business, but it's ministry. So it's a whole nother level, for me. And then the way it works. So the spirituality comes out in my sessions and how God uses me with each person, so that the experience that you get is very individual and specific for you and for what your needs in. And so one of the things that I started talking about last year, again, that I was directed by God with, is trauma. And so many people have experienced trauma on so many different levels. Trauma from childhood even to adulthood. So when we talk about, that entrepreneur, that business owner, and being healthy in business, in order to be healthy, whether it's in business, your physical body, or even at home with your family, we have to talk about the traumas. We have to kind of unpack and unveil some of the things that we've been through so that we can process through them, because many of us are stuck in some of the things that have happened to us in the past. And the only way to really move forward is to get rid of what happened in the past. And of course, we can't erase our past, right? But if we talk about it, if we kind of unpack that with help in a safe environment, and that's what I provide for my clients, they're able to then go back into the recesses of their mind, so to speak, and bring up this trauma and what happened and what it is that they experienced, and then not leave them there, but kind of talk them through and walk them through the healing of that trauma so that it's no longer as traumatic. So again, we can't erase what happened, but we can help you have a new mindset based on what has happened to you, so you no longer have to carry that heavy baggage with you wherever it is that you go. And it does carry with us, whether we realize that we're carrying it or not, it's still there because it's something that has greatly affected us. And Gustavo talked about the subconscious mind just briefly, and those things that have happened are stored in your subconscious mind. So until you bring them out and actually deal with them, they are driving you behind the scenes. You ever realize like your laptop is slow or your phone is slow, it's not doing everything, and you go to swipe off the apps and you're like, oh my God, I had 10 apps open? I do that all the time. So kind of in our physical being, that's like the subconscious stuff that's running in the background. So if we haven't dealt with the trauma, there's apps open in our body, in our mind, things that we have experienced that we need to close so that we can move forward. And so one of the things that I do is to help my clients to move forward in their life. Sometimes these traumatic things have, and most of the time actually, have a direct effect on their health. And so last month, I had a client that was having some stomach issues, very serious stomach issues, and she had been to the doctor, she had had tests. She was having more stomach problems, she went back, she had more tests. And finally she calls me and she's like, please, can you just do something, for my stomach? And she's a friend of mine, so I said, okay, no problem. And I said, well, what happened at the doctor's? And she said, well, I went for more tests like I told you, and they couldn't find anything. I said, they didn't find anything? She said, no, they couldn't find anything. I said, that's because there's nothing there. This has to do with your soul. It was not physical at all, but it completely manifested in a physiological way. And she literally she was from constipation to diarrhea and just pains and knots, and it was affecting how she was sleeping and everything. And so in our session, I worked with her and I used specific essential oils that are good for digestive system. And then I use some acupressure, which you guys are all going to do acupressure on yourselves today because I'm going to teach you. That's one of the tools I want to leave you with. And so I was able to do some of that to kind of open up and unlock her digestive system. So while I'm working on her feet, she says, wow, I feel that in my stomach. She's like, wow, some of the knots, like I feel it being released. Like, this is so crazy. This is so weird. So I rubbed her stomach. I did some digestive points in her hands. And she was like, wow, I feel this here and I feel this there. So she was really in tune in that session to what she was feeling. And then there was a point that she did like this. So I knew something happened. But it wasn't for me to question at that time because I'm like the guide, the facilitator, right? And so when I was finished and everything was all done, I said, something happened, didn't it? She said, yes. I said, would you like to talk about it? You don't have to, but if you want to. She says, no, I want to tell you. So during the session when things were being unlocked and opened, she recalled a time, well actually she saw herself like going up in the sky. She first just saw the sky. She's like, what is that? And then as she kept delving into it, what it was getting clearer and clearer. So she went up in an elevator. And that was why she initially saw the sky, right? Because she was going up. And then she remembered that she lived in an apartment building on the first floor, but her aunt lived on the 8th floor. And she used to go play with her cousin that lived upstairs. But then she remembered, and when she covered her face, she remembered that the aunt's friend used to do bad things to her. So she was sexually abused. She was traumatized. Here it is, she's almost 50 years old, and now she's able to finally do that, to deal with that. So what I was able to teach her and walk her through is that when traumas happen to us, your brain stores a place in your body that is going to save that. With the intention of, okay, you can't handle this right now, and that's okay. You're 7, or you're 15, or you're 22, whatever. Your brain says, this is overload for you, so I'm going to store it somewhere. Problem is, as we get older and we get busier and, we have busy lives and so forth, we don't remember what happened. We just kind of push it away because we have to function, right? And we probably have children and they got issues and we got to help them with their issues. So there's just a lot going on in life. So you don't always remember what happened. And that was your brain's job to kind of help you and protect you from what was going on until the time that you can process through it. So now when we get of that age, whatever age that is for you, and based on your trauma and your brain, that area of the body that it was stored begins to act up. But what happens? We're very busy, and so what do? We medicate. Most people, they medicate in one way or another. And they don't really deal with the problem because they don't remember. They're not thinking that, oh, my knee hurts because of a trauma when I was 12. They're not thinking that, right? So it's someone like me that helps. So this is what happened with this young lady, is that the stomach pains caused her to come in, and me working with her caused that to be unlocked. She didn't even remember the trauma. And so helping her process through that and helping her to release the emotions of what she was feeling, release the memory, release the guilt, release the shame, not just of her abuser, but also of herself and also of her cousin that had experienced. Because when the cousin told the mom sent the cousin away, which further scared the cousin, which was my client, because she said, well, what's going to happen to me if I tell? And so she held that for so many years that now in her second marriage, it's causing her to have really serious health problems. So long story short, with her, we processed through all of that. The knots were released while she was there on the table. She felt lighter, she felt happier, she felt such a release of emotions. A week later, her husband came in and he said, I just want to thank you so much. Like, I have my wife back, the one he met. This isn't a second marriage now. So he said she sleeps better, she's not in pain, she's happy. So it helped so many different aspects of her life where she thought it was just, or he thought it was just stomach problems. But there was nothing to corroborate that story that anything was wrong with her stomach. So it really was a spiritual thing that was having a physical manifestation in her body. And so we were able to get that together. And she is feeling so much better. So through prayer, through the different strategies, through acupressure, through using the essential oils, it was able to help her, give her a safe environment that she could let go and let her know that she was safe and she was okay, to even remember, and then to help her process through it. So we didn't just open up a can of worms and then leave her there. I basically walked her through from whatever she was 8, 9 years old, now up to 50 years old, which is amazing. And so that's something that God started to talk to me about and showing me the root cause with people and the things that they're going through, even anxiety, even the depression, insomnia, whatever it is, there's a root cause to that. So if we can cut it off at the root, no more fruits go on the tree, right? You have an apple tree and you pick apples, what happens? Another apple grows on that tree eventually, right? Or the next season, right? But if you cut the tree down, there's not going to be any more apples. So we don't want to just treat the fruits or synonymous the symptoms. We want to get to what the root is, because if we get it from the root, it'll go away. I could have just given her stuff that would help ease her stomach, but that would have been treating the fruit. So instead, we got it from the root, and now she doesn't have stomach problems anymore, right? Let's do it. So that was awesome and amazing. So how do you like the stress away?
It's really good. I like it.
Okay, and how do you like the joy? Joy?
Prefer the stress.
Okay.
They're both good.
Okay. And the joy has a little bit of floral, so sometimes I put that behind my ears.
It's more earthy.
Yeah, and I'll use that one as a perfume. Dr. Maureen, what was your favorite?
Oh my God. I am sold on the lemongrass.
Yeah, see?
Do you do Reiki or do you practice Reiki?
No, I don't do Reiki. I just do prayer.
Okay.
I just do prayer.
I'm very
and
familiar
just-
with holistic medicine, and I
Yeah. So what I want to teach you now, to break this up a little bit, because I have a little bit more things to share, is I want to teach you a pain point. So this pain point is going to be in your hand. So if you're left-handed, you can use your dominant hand, in other words, and we'll use a dominant hand on your non-dominant hand. Is that okay? So I need you to get your hand up, and we're going to go in the web of our hand in between your thumb and your index finger. And you'll feel it's like a muscle, but right before the bone. So whether you do it this way or you do it this way, but just kind of press in there.
So
It's
your
possible.
dominant hand on the other one.
Yes, your dominant hand on your non-dominant hand, and you're pressing here in the web of your hand. And it may be a little tender. It all depends on what's going on with you. And it's possible that it doesn't hurt at all. Either one is fine. And so this is a good point for pain. Pain anywhere that you have in your body. If you have a headache, you can do this. And so you can do this in a meeting, you know? You can do this when you're consulting with a client. You can do this in the car even if you stopped at a light. So this is something quick and easy that you can do that can make an immediate change on how you're feeling or how you're thinking at that moment. So this point is called joining the valley. So I guess we would consider this part in between here as the valley. It's called joining the valley. And this is a great point for pain, any type of pain. And there was something else I wanted to bring up with that one. It's good for arthritis. It's good for constipation. So we're talking about digestive issues, headaches, toothaches, and shoulder pain. Sinus, yes. This was a point that I taught for my son when he had trouble with asthma. So digestion, respiratory, pain. Any kind of pain, wherever. This is a good point that you can use. Now, you can magnify the effect of this acupressure point by using the essential oil first. So, if we use peppermint, peppermint is something that's very good for pain, can be very anti-inflammatory. You can use this and put that on your hand. So, take a drop. Let me demonstrate it. So, you'll take a drop like this. We want to increase the frequency of the oil, so we rub it 3 times clockwise, and I love what Dr. Maureen did, which is what I always say, just breathe it in. Nice deep breath in. You'll see that it clears up your sinuses, it clears up your head from like the gut, the diaphragm, all the way up like to your brain, and then you can apply that on your hand, and go ahead and work that point, okay? So I'm going to give you, and just hold it up and put a drop, and then we'll pass it down. So one of the reasons why I use these essential oils is because they're so potent. I know the founder, I've been to the plant, the company, the research and development, you know, the whole process, the warehouse, everything. I've been with them over 20 years. And they have helped me with so many, you know, different things. They say I can't make medical claims, but I can just tell you my story and what it has helped me with and what it has helped, you know, my children with, my clients with. And so peppermint is an oil. We all kind of know that as like a tummy soother, right? If your tummy's hurting, you get some peppermint tea. Everybody knows that, right? So, thank you. The peppermint oil is 50 times more potent than the dried herb. So that's good, and herbs are good, and teas are good, and I still drink teas, but I can make the tea with this.
Oh, you can.
Just oil my water first, and then drop the peppermint oil in. I make my own tea. You can sweeten it if you want to. You don't have to. And you can even use that as your pain medicine. You know, something just to help you have a headache, or your sinus is acting up, you have allergies, congestion, or whatever. This is something that you can do, and you can make a tonic for yourself. And so we're going to experience that as soon as Ashley comes back, because I made a little healing water, I call it. One of my friends nicknamed it exotic healing water, and so I accepted that. And so this water that I made has citrus fresh, which is a blend of orange, tangerine, mandarin, and spearmint. and then a little bit of peppermint and a drop of lavender, because I didn't want to put you to sleep, but I want you to be calm. Okay? And so this is one of the ways that the essential oils can help to balance our emotions.
So the orange, the tangerine, the mandarin, the spearmint, and the drop of lavender.
It's in Citrus Fresh.
Oh,
They're all in the water. So the
And
spearmint, mandarin, orange, spearmint, tangerine, mandarin, and orange are in the one bottle that's called Citrus Fresh.
Okay, citrus.
Yeah, that's a blend.
Okay.
And then I added a drop of lavender and 2 drops of peppermint because I wanted the minty flavor to come through. These oils are so potent that 1 drop of peppermint can make 26 cups of tea. So we could have all had a cup of tea today with 1 drop of peppermint, right? And that's why I say don't shake the bottle. I'm not being cheap. It's just that potent. Less is more. Less is more, right? when I put
people are gonna be like.
but they love it. I'm like known as the peppermint lady at the gym.
Yeah.
Because I too lost weight. Gustavo. So much that I no longer look like my driver's license. And when I travel to Hawaii and I'm going through security, they're looking and they're like, and I was like, yeah, I lost weight. I'm not finished yet, so I'm not getting the new ID until I'm finished, right? Since I held up the cup, I was just going to say to you that if I make my own personal cup of tea and I put a drop in it, it's so powerful I have to drink it like this with my eyes closed. It's literally going in your eyes. So speaking of eyes, my younger daughter's been having some issue with like dryness now and like itchiness, and sometimes it's painful. So what I do is I give her a drop of lavender. She rubs it in her hands 3 times clockwise, and she makes like a cup over her eye. Don't put the oils in your eyes, but she puts them on her hand, and your eyes breathe. And when you do that, you can feel the vapor. You can even try it now with what's already on your hand. You can feel the vapor. You can feel the exchange. And so that helps with her eyes as well. It helps to relieve the itching. It helps to relieve the pain and things like that. So that's something simple, easy that you can do. Okay. So since I already picked this up, one of the things that I talk about is start and stay started. The hardest thing that we do anytime we try something new, and Gustavo touched on it, is in a fitness regimen or health regimen or setting goals or anything, and you want to do something better than what you're doing it right now. A lot of times we start strong and we finish horrible. Or we don't finish, right? We don't finish. I'm guilty too. We've all done that. So one of the things that I talk about is start and stay started. So I had some mugs, made with that. And it's just not going back to zero. So I was working with someone that I was trying to help with fitness and just a healthier lifestyle. And she ate good for breakfast, and she made a mistake at lunch. And she beat herself up so bad that she made a mistake at dinner and the next 3 days. And it was like, no, just stay started. Because then after those 3 days, she had to start over again. And that's the hardest part. So once you start, just keep going. Just try to make as many healthy choices, positive choices that you can. And we can use this really with any part in our life, right? So sometimes we make mistakes or we don't hit the mark the way that we felt that we should or we thought that we should. And so it's not a negative or a strike against us or who we are or how we do things. We just learn to be better as we're going through this process. So if you're on a fitness journey or a health journey or a wealth journey or whatever it is, once you started, just keep going. Don't stop. Try to make good, healthy choices each day, good business choices, each day. And so you don't have to go back to zero because it's so hard to start again. So just stay started, keep going, right? So we've all gotten some aromatherapy with the essential oils that we use, and we put it on topically. Does anyone feel a difference? Whether it's emotional or physical, what are you sensing or recognizing from your body? Go ahead.
Well, so for me, actually, peppermint is my aroma. Obsessively, and fortunately, my friends and family figured that out, so now I even get all gifts, like at my birthday, it's all peppermint, everything. But I use peppermint candles in my office, I use peppermint tea, I use peppermint chapstick. I mean, I'm that, everything. So for me, as soon as I get this, I sit up straighter, I feel more focused, I'm more alert. I love peppermint.
So for you, from what I'm getting from what you said, is it just helps to align you.
Yes, 100%.
Because like you said, you even sit up straighter.
Yeah.
It really helps to align you. So the aroma from peppermint is very good for memory and very good for concentration, which is something that I wanted to touch on also, because we have so much to do and so much to remember, right, in our business, with our families, and teaching others that having certain aromas around you can help to elevate your memory and your concentration. Anytime we elevate ourselves, we can elevate our business. We can elevate other people. That's what this is about, right? Evaluate and elevate. So first we have to know where we are, what we need, whether that's goals, assessing our leadership style, whatever it is. We have to evaluate where we are and be okay if where you are is not where you want to be. Because how do you get to where you want to be if you don't know where you are right now? Tracking and measuring is so important. And again, it's not a strike against you or to make you feel bad for anything that you didn't do. Make today a better day. Make tomorrow a better day. And I would even say be careful on, okay, I'll start tomorrow. Okay, I'll do better tomorrow. No, start now. What if there is no tomorrow? But something that you could have made a choice to do today can make a better tomorrow, if not for you, for someone else. So don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Okay? So whatever you're starting, write your goals and what have you, but go ahead and finish it. Just keep going. Don't stop. It's so much easier, and you get momentum if you keep going. Otherwise, you have to kind of get the umph to get up and get moving again. Okay, so we kind of did a lot already. So I taught you joining the valley. Another one I want to teach you, and this one is the third eye point, and it's right in between your eyes and the bridge of your nose. This point is so helpful for so many different things. Okay, I don't want to leave anything out. It's helpful for allergies. How many people do you know that suffer with allergies? So if you're the boss, if you're the one that owns the company, and you have employees that have allergy problems, that's going to affect their productivity. It's going to affect their focus. It's going to affect whether they're coming into work every day or not, whether they're coming in on time or they're not, or maybe your coworker has a child with bad allergies. So either way, they're affected, you're affected, the business is affected, and the bottom line is affected. So by you having better health for yourself and better health environment in the workplace is going to also elevate your employees, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally as well. So this is a profound change that you can add to your life to increase yourself, your health personally, but also in the workplace. So you now have the potential to affect a family, or families, or even generation, like the fish in the pan. So now that someone knows, well, hey, I can use peppermint for memory and concentration, and it helps me with digestion, and I feel more uplifted, or I feel more positive. Now that person can teach it to their children and teach it to their children. So now we can, change the way that things are happening and help make ourselves better, but help make people better and help make our workplace better also. So I'm a firm believer, if you don't like something, then figure out the solution for it. Complaining gets us nowhere. Now we do have to evaluate, but complaining about it, or like you talked about, criticizing, is not going to fix the problem. A lot of times it makes a bigger problem. So once we recognize that there's a problem, whether it's with us or in our family, in our business, whatever it is, what can we do to fix it? Be more solution oriented. How can we find different avenues to fix this problem? What are some of the suggestions that might work? And then, brainstorm with others or what have you, but to just make it better. So I touched on anxiety. Our anxiety, or people that have anxiety, it can be affected by their hormones. Okay, and a lot of times when we talk about hormones, a lot of times we think about women and hormones, or that change of life season when they begin to go into menopause. But men experience this too, and they're affected by hormones. So there's many different hormones, and when they're out of balance, it affects your sleep. So you talk about sleep apnea, you talk about sleep deprivation, which can lead to heart palpitations or sleep apnea and things like that. So that's going to affect your quality of sleep. It's going to also affect your health. It's going to also affect your workplace. Whether you're the boss or you're the employee, either way, you're being affected by it, right? And so a balance of hormones can help with that. So there's some natural things that we can do, male and female, to help to balance our hormones, that it can help us with sleep. Because hormones also affect your sex drive. whether too much or too little, and that's a problem too, because then you're frustrated or stressed or what have you, and then that still comes into the workplace. And again, whether you're the boss or you're the employee, whatever's going on at home and in the family is going to somehow have an effect on your productivity or your bottom line. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So it affects your sleep. It affects your moods. So that moody person, maybe they have a hormonal imbalance. You know, maybe you have a hormonal imbalance, and that's not a bad thing. Again, we're going to evaluate so we can elevate. So now that we find that that might be an issue for you, here's what we can do naturally to help balance your hormones. Now your moods are better. Now you're sleeping better. Now things are better at home. Things are better in the marriage. So you see how it's holistic, how it carries over to so many different things. And I just brought up the topic of hormones, but even in that one thing, it can affect us in so many different ways. And it's tangible because it's going to come into the office. If someone had a bad weekend, had a bad day, has a family problem, one way or another, it's going to come into the office. So for us, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we want to be as balanced, as even-keeled as we can. And of course, you know, we're human, so we're going to have good days and bad days. But these are some of the things that you can do to offset your bad days. Wouldn't we all like the tips and tricks to have less bad days and more good days? And this is one of the ways that we can do it is through holistic health. By helping us be more balanced, it can help our businesses to be more balanced, and then we can be a blessing to those around us. So there are points that are also good for your hormones and helping to balance your hormones. The essential oils that we can use, but also this same point. This point here and the third eye point. So two very basic, easy to reach points, right? But that can really have a holistic effect on your health right now. And not just your physical health, but your mental and emotional health as well. Okay. Gustavo, can I get you to help me?
Sure.
I would like you to pass out those cups right there, please. And so we're going to taste now. So I'm getting a little parched. We're going to taste now the exotic healing water that I made. Most people love it. The children love it. And most adults like it too. So you go ahead and taste it and let me know what you think. It smells really nice, right? So you even get it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You get the aroma of it. So I'll tell you a quick story, testimony while you're experiencing that. I was substituting for a class some years ago, and it was a class that children were very low functioning, and they had a lot of behavioral issues. It was a class that there was a co-teacher, and I was subbing for the co-teacher, and then there was the regular teacher or the general ed teacher. And these children were off the chain. Like they were on like 100. And they were getting ready to go to lunch. And so now, this is my first day in the classroom, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, everybody peps up after they come back from lunch, right? And they get all excited and they run around. And here I am like, oh my God, these kids are on 100 now. What are they gonna be like when they come back from lunch? So they went to lunch, and I took a paper towel and I wet it, and I sprinkled some lavender on it, and I go cleaning the desk. And the principal comes by, because I can't administer oils to the children, right? But I had it on. So I'm cleaning the desk, and she goes, oh, that's wonderful. You're doing such a great job. What is that smell? It smells lovely in here. And I was like, oh, I just cleaned the desk. She's like, thank you. And she leaves. The children come back in from lunch, and they were so chill. They were so chill that the teacher was like, what did you do? And it was just some lavender on the paper towel, and I wiped the desk with that.
Wow.
So the aroma helped them so much. Another class I did, and this class, they were older. That was like kindergarten. There was another class, they were sixth grade, and very low functioning. They had a lot of learning disabilities and behavioral issues going on in that classroom. And there was a young lady in there, and let me see, what's that age? Maybe 11, 12, that doesn't really matter, but she was miserable. She was miserable. She had some type of head cold, congestion going on. She could barely breathe. It was horrible. Like I felt, as a mother, like I felt so bad for her. And I'm wondering, why did this mother send her to school? Well, her mother had to work, and she couldn't be home, so the child couldn't be home alone, so she had to be to school. So when I talked with the teacher, also co-teaching, and she said, you know, her mother couldn't, you know, keep her home. She had to come to school. And I was like, she's sick. And she, you know, risks getting everybody else sick. So here I am. I take a tissue and I put some drops of lavender on it, and we're sitting at a big round table. So again, I'm not going to touch the children with it. I just put it on the tissue, and I sat the tissue in the middle of the table. everybody got focused. I was working with 4 kids, and she was one of them. And everyone got focused, everyone kind of sit up straight. Her nose starts running. Like, she's like, the faucet just turned on, and so I'll keep giving her, tissue to run. And they were like, what is that? So they knew I put the tissue in the middle of the table, but they didn't know why. And then one of them goes in and grabs the tissue, and he smells it, and he loved it. And then he gave it to the young girl, and so she's just dripping, and it's coming out, but she was so much better. Ever since that day, the little boys see me the whole way, can I have a tissue? Can I have a tissue? So again, I affected his life. I changed the whole classroom through peppermint oil. So they were focused, they were attentive. That was peppermint. They were focused, they were attentive, they were alert, and it helped this young girl get rid of all this head congestion that she had going on. So it's just a testament, just a little story to show you the profound effect that we can have on ourselves and also other people. So what do you feel, what do you think, what do you like or not like from what you tasted?
Oh, I haven't tasted it yet. I was smelling.
You late to the party. And you forgot me, I didn't get any.
Oh, shoot.
What did you think? Valerie, right? Vicky, I'm sorry. What did you think?
It's nice. There's so many smells going on right now.
Yeah.
So, but it's very calming, and I really want that emotional healing today.
Okay.
It was good that I had it, so I guess it's working.
Okay, all right. So emotional healing is working. How did you feel?
I tell you, a lot of stuff is going on mental level, focus, feeling calm in my mind, and my brain. My mind, my brain. But down to the soulish part of me, there's a peace and a tranquility
I feel it in the room.
that's going on here, and it's almost as though I'm not in a yoga class, but it's almost as though I'm ready to. You see how I keep on breathing?
She's like so zen right now.
Actually, it's just like, if I had to present after this, I don't think I'd be able to do it. Okay. Totally relaxed.
Okay.
Totally relaxed. Thank you for this.
You're welcome. And how do you feel?
I really love the flavors. I really like it. I feel centered 100%, and I thought it was very. I could smell all the citrus and the mint,
Awesome.
and it was really yummy.
Okay. Let's stop.
Tastes like a really good tea.
Yeah. And so you can do it hot or cold. So I'm glad you said that. You can do it hot or cold. You can mix different flavors together. So if you want a more fruity flavor, then you can use some orange or grapefruit or,
Like mint.
something like that. Mint.
Peppermint.
Yeah, I like that. So it helps to keep me focused. It helps to keep me balanced as well as the word that Tamar used. And so it's easy to make and to use. My children love it, and it helps to keep us healthy. So this is something so simple and easy that we can do that actually helps your health, that actually can boost your immune system and help your body to work better. Because again, we're talking about holistic health and how it's going to help us in the workplace, whether as business owners or even employers. And so you have the ability to increase and improve your quality of life, your quality of work environment, because for most people, that's where they spend most of their time, at work. And so this is something that can help improve that quality. We talked about, evaluating our own health, evaluating our own mental health, so that then we can elevate it. If we're not where we want to be, we can then make it better. We can be more positive. We can think more positive. Also surrounding ourselves with positive people that are where we want to be or are going where we're going, because it's very important. None of us are an island, and we all need support in one way or another. We all need help in one way or another. So it's just connecting to the right people. And lastly, and we probably kind of talked about it with the stress away, and that how the oils really help with stress. And we can see that even in the room, because it's just such a peace and tranquility, and everybody's just kind of like so relaxed right now. And that's a wonderful thing. We talked about anxiety and depression. And we talked about, and we got to experience the oils aromatically by smelling it, right? And then topically by putting it on, and then orally by putting it in our drink. We also talked about using it as a diffuser, whether on a tissue or in the vent in the car or the air conditioner, or an actual diffuser that's going to mystify the oils in the room. Okay. And we talked about trauma. I just want to touch on self-love and self-care. And some may not think that that is, appropriate or congruent with business, but it is. Because again, that's part of ourself. And so if we tend to abuse ourselves as business owners, right? And I'm a caregiver on top of a business owner. So for me, I have to make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do for me to build me, because I work in a service industry with people. I'm always talking to people. I'm always touching people. I'm always giving away energy. And one of the things that I find because of my self-care and self-love is that people recognize my energy. And it baffled me just last week with some clients that were sitting in the lobby. They weren't my clients. I'm in a salon, and so I have my wellness center in a salon, and they're doing hair, and I'm doing wellness. And I came out to get a client and go back to the room, and then this other lady was still there, and she just wanted to meet me. She said, because I love your energy. And I'm like, really? And she was like, your smile is so illuminating, all this. And I didn't even speak to her, not because, I wasn't speaking to her. I just went to greet my client and bring him to the back. But she noticed even the way I handled my client, and she was just like, wow, your energy, I could feel it. And I was like, wow. But I felt good, like I'm giving off something good. I wasn't trying to, you know what I mean? It's just me. But she was so in tune that she was able to sense that. And so I made an impact on her, and we hadn't even had a conversation yet. And I would like to, if I can, draw that even what you talked about, Dr. Maureen, about leadership and respect and just giving something. And this is not necessarily looking for something in return. Now, here it is. She had this respect for me at this moment because I made an impact on her, and we never even had a conversation. So that just really touched me and showed me that I'm doing the right things for myself, that I have something to illuminate. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
So I'm feeding myself so that I can have something to feed to other people. And this is part of the holistic approach, because we always have the ability to touch people in ways that we don't know or that we don't necessarily plan on it, especially when you're in a leadership role. When you're in a leadership capacity, you don't always know who's watching you. And we can't control what they're going to get from it, but when you're doing the right thing, people are going to get from it, because it goes back to who you are. We can pretend to be whatever, but who we are is what's going to really come through at some point in time, because you always revert back to who you really are. And so again, I think that fits really nicely with evaluating ourselves and evaluating our business. Where can we make changes to make things better? How can we help ourselves, our family, and how can we help other people? So I hope that I have given you some tips, tricks, and strategies of how you can live a better, happier life. I have an ebook that I wrote, and it's called Living Your Blessed Best Life Now. And some of it is just some of the strategies that you can use, because self-love and self-care are so important. And like I said, it emanates through everything that it is that we do. And so while now we're feeling kind of relaxed and low, but Tamar has to speak, so now I have to pick you guys up again. And so
She's full of energy.
Oh, good. So it's good that, that the oils and the natural health, it can do that too. So whether you need an upper or a downer, naturally, of course, it can do that and just really make an effect on people. So I thank you so much for listening. I thank you for your attentiveness and your time. You have